Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now today is Throwback Thursday, so we're going to do an old movie review. However, first off, we gotta talk about the Ezra Miller situation once again. So let's jump into the Ezra Miller situation and then we will be reviewing an old superhero movie that doesn't have too much controversy, Supergirl. So stick around and we're going to jump right into it. Okay, so Ezra Miller's case keeps getting stranger and stranger because now there's a woman in Berlin, Nadia, who told Variety not to give anything but her first name out, saying that in 2022, after a nice relationship with Miller, mostly via text, she invited them to her house, at which point they began to light up a cigarette, and she told them that they couldn't light up a cigarette in her house. Now, at this point, Ezra flips out and starts leaving tobacco all over the place, touching everything, making a scene, making her feel uneasy. Well, they at that point began insulting her, telling her that she was a horrible person because she was of German descent, I guess. And you can only imagine the slurs that they spat out at her at that point. And yes, if you're thinking of a couple, you're probably thinking of the right ones. But the thing of it is, that was uncalled for, and after about a half an hour, she finally convinced Miller to leave once she called the police. The incident left her deeply disturbed, and she said that while she never felt she was at risk of any sort of sexual assault, she believed that they could somehow attack her physically. Now, that is a bit troublesome because this is hot on the heels of a lot of other things we've been hearing, and none of it's good. So, yeah, we got the news, according to a lot of sources, that DC, Warner Brothers, still intends to put this movie in the theaters. Why? Because they can't afford not to, apparently. They have decided that they really cannot afford to not put this movie in the theaters. And that's a bit disturbing in itself. Because we're now at a point where I know a lot of people aren't going to feel comfortable going and seeing this movie, knowing the crimes that Ezra Miller has been convicted again time and time again. This has become something that you can't unsee, that you can't unhear. And even if it proves to all be outright lies, which when evidence surmounts on top of more and more evidence, you really can't overlook the fact that there's probably some truth to it. So, how do we go past what they have done and look at this movie objectively? Every time you see The Flash, you are going to be seeing Ezra Miller's crimes. You're going to be seeing Ezra Miller. You're going to be seeing their crimes that they are accused of, and probably at this point have committed a few of these. We do know about the strangulation of a fan, which the story behind that actually goes that they were wearing flip-flops and she noticed the scars on their feet. To which they said they are battle scars, and she said that she believed she could take them. So, at that point, the struggle ensued. she thought it was a joke until she was on the ground being choked and knew it wasn't. So that is where that situation was. And then it is piled on and piled on from there. And don't you just love the fireworks before the 4th of July? I don't know if you can hear them, but they're out there. Now, that's all we have to say about Ezra Miller. I don't know where we go from here on that. If you have any thoughts on this subject or what you think we could do, let me know. Okay, so let's talk about our movie, our throwback review of Supergirl 1984. Supergirl 1984 came out during a much more innocent time. I say it was without its controversies, however, that's not entirely true, although we just didn't have the level of controversy we have with The Flash. The controversy here became, why isn't Christopher Reeve in the movie? And then you had some people saying even back then that the movie didn't live up to the expectations of what a Supergirl movie should be. It kind of retold her origin and in a way that made it a little bit less confusing for our viewers, because Supergirl has had a complex history, and even up to this point her history was a little bit complex. Another thing of minor contention at the time was the villain itself was a witch named Selena, and the whole movie was treated kind of a bit silly, or at least that's how some people felt about it. However, the movie is still a solid superhero movie, in that the character of Supergirl shows some growth as a character throughout the movie. We see her go from being less confident to being more confident within her skills. And it's for that reason that I recommend this movie. Now, with all the things going on with the Ezra Miller case and a bunch of other things that we're noticing within our superhero franchises, to go back to something that was somewhat solid, it was cute, it didn't treat everything in this R-rated violent fashion. If you want a superhero movie you can watch with your entire family, you could do a lot worse than Supergirl. Now, here are a few interesting things. Christopher Reeve was scheduled to come back, as I stated, to play Superman and kind of hand the torch over to Supergirl for this movie so she could have her own franchise too. However, as he was slated to make a cameo, he was unavailable. But the film still features a picture of Christopher Reeve in the Superman suit to kind of pay homage and let you know that this is Superman's cousin. Now, the opening credits to this film cost almost $1 million to shoot. Now, let me put that in perspective. That's nothing compared to the price that we would do for a movie today. And when you're talking about the Flash movie being one of the most expensive movies ever made, that is still not something that we are seeing as this whole thing with, oh, we can just reshoot. Because even something that costs $1 million to shoot is something that you don't want to have to reshoot if you don't have to. Like all good films, this film also had a director's cut. Yes, in a film container in London, they found this container and it said, "Do not use." That was all it said on the container. Well, that was the director's cut of Supergirl, which actually got released for the film's Blu-ray in 2018. And I recommend you pick it up on Blu-ray if you can. Both versions of the movie, whether you get it on DVD or Blu-ray, are great. The plot, like I said, is cheesy, but it's a good kind of cheesy. Now the film was actually completed after Superman 3, which was in 1983. But after Superman 3 underperformed, this movie almost didn't get a release date. It almost never came out because they were concerned about Superman 3 having underperformed. But ultimately, it did end up coming out. Now, Brooke Shields was actually the first choice to play Supergirl, and it would have been a completely different movie, as Helen Slater does a fantastic job. In fact, that's one of the to-go-to reasons to watch this movie is Helen Slater's performance is absolutely amazing. Faye Dunaway is great as the villain character, even though it's someone we never really get to see in the comics. Now, ironically, there is a character later on named Selena in the comics we see, and I'm not sure if that's supposed to be an exact copy of this character. However, I do believe that it's supposed to pay homage to this character in some way, shape, or form. But I don't know that to be a fact, because the Supergirl comics have kind of lost me along the way sometimes, and there's a lot of the really older ones that I haven't had the privilege of reading. Now, that being said, if you want a good, clean, fun movie, I highly recommend you check this one out. Supergirl 1984 is probably one of the cutest movies that you can watch with your family in terms of superhero movies. I actually give it 5 out of 5 stars simply for the fact that it is family-friendly fare. So, there you go. And if you have seen this movie, let me know what you think in the comments. We want to hear from you in the comments, so make sure you drop us a comment and let us know what you think. And then don't forget to like this video. That like means a lot to us and to the channel as a whole. And YouTube really likes to know that you like our channel. So make sure you are hitting that like button. Also share this video with all of your friends so that they get the same great content you're getting on this Throwback Thursday and get to know a movie that they may not have actually thought about seeing. And then don't forget to hit that subscribe button because Miko thinks we need more subscribers. And make sure you're hitting that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. And then friends, fandom is family.